Coming up on Carolina News, USC students fight back against graduation ticket limitations.
First thing I did was I ran to the computer and I Googled, how do you start a petition?
Find out how the university is responding to student concerns.
1 year later, we remember the victims of the Boston Marathon bombings.
To shake the hands of the doctors and the nurses who stopped the bleeding, who closed your wounds.
See how the city came together today to prove they're still Boston strong.
The city of Columbia has big plans for one of its most historic buildings. Find out what they have planned for the last remaining building from the once booming cotton industry.
All this and more next on Carolina News.
Live from the capital city, Carolina News brings you your news first.
Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Emily McDonald.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Stanley. Many students are frustrated about the limited seats available for friends and family for graduation. USC is limiting the number of guests for the May 9th graduation in anticipation of many wanting to see guest speaker Vice President Joe Biden. One student took to the internet to fight for a change. Our Rebecca Ball has the latest.
Bree Nurse graduates in 24 days. After years of hard work, she's ready to walk across the stage.
For more information on graduation, please visit www.commencement.sc.edu.
Parents of the 7-year-old shot at a birthday party want justice for their daughter. Lexington County Sheriff's deputies say Juliette Noel Lynch was accidentally shot by a 5-year-old she was playing with on Saturday. Investigators say the 5-year-old went to the trunk of a car to get a toy gun, and the mother's boyfriend had an actual gun in the trunk. Lexington County Sheriff James Metz says criminal charges could be filed. The man charged with the 2009 shooting death of a woman at an ATM in Forest Acres pleaded guilty in a Fairfield courtroom Monday. Fairfield County deputies say Kendrick Nesbitt is sentenced to life in prison. Nesbitt shot and killed 55-year-old Lynn Thompson at a Bank of America in Trenholm Plaza. Authorities say he shot her multiple times, removed her from the vehicle, then drove away in her car. Nesbitt has an extensive criminal history, including prison time for armed robbery.
Today marks the 1-year anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombings. 1 year ago today, 2 bombs claimed 3 lives and injured more than 260 people near the finish line of the Boston Marathon. The city of Boston came together today for a ceremony to honor the victims, first responders, medical personnel, and others affected by the attack. Former Boston Mayor Thomas Menino was one of the multiple speakers who expressed appreciation and support for the Boston community.
Even though the memories still bring tears to our eyes, our heartaches for those who were lost, it's still a comfort to be here with family and friends who got us through that tragic day, to shake the hands of the doctors and the nurses who stopped the bleeding, closed your wounds, who mend your legs, who saved your lives so you are here with us.
After the ceremony, the city held a moment of silence. This year's Boston Marathon is scheduled for Monday. Governor Nikki Haley has signed a law which will require more people convicted of driving under the influence to install a device that won't let their vehicle start if the drivers have been drinking. Emma's law requires anyone with a first conviction for DUI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15% or greater to get an ignition interlock device for 6 months. Haley's spokesman said yesterday the governor plans to hold a signing ceremony later for Emma's law.
Kara Stokes is with us now for the first look at our forecast.
Hey, Chris and Emily, it's been a cloudy day here in Columbia. Coming up later in our full forecast.
It's spring break for many high schools, and several prep baseball teams are spending their week in the Midlands for the annual Forest Acres Classic Tournament. However, Rickson Lane reports that the wet weather is putting a damper on everyone's plans.
AC Flora rarely loses at home, but not even the two-time defending.
The tournament championship is scheduled for 8 o'clock Thursday night.
Bunnies and baby chicks are popular around Easter time, and one Charleston farm offers the opportunity to bring home chicks for the holiday. Aaron Torbert has more about why some people participate in the farm's Rent-A-Chick program each year.
Hi. Whoops.
Every year around Easter,
It's only $25 to rent chicks for 2 weeks, and the next time to pick them up is going to be between April 18th and 19th.
Those chicks were absolutely adorable, but I don't know how my dog would feel about me having a bunch of chicks running around the house.
Yeah, something that tiny and mobile, I can barely keep up with my keys. Not happening.
Exactly. Well, coming up after the break, find out what is so special about this building and why what you may see inside now will be different in 2 years.
Columbia's Palmetto Compress Warehouse is one of the city's most historic buildings. The last remaining left one since the booming cotton industry was here in Columbia. It was built in 1917 and has been saved from being leveled by Columbia's Development Corporation, which now has a developer planning to use the structure. Michelle Burrows took a look inside the building and shows us just how much was saved.
If you've ever driven west on Blossom Street, you may have passed this building and wondered.
This building is not the only piece of construction that the city will be taking on. There are plans for several more university housing complexes to be built on both sides of Blossom Street, as well as the new apartment complex right behind the Carolina Coliseum.
West Columbia City Council voted Monday night to strip Mayor Joe Owens of some of his power. Owens is no longer in charge of council meetings. The decision comes after a month of debate and power struggle between the mayor and council members. Owens said he has not done anything to deserve this, but Councilman Tim Miles says it was Owens' behavior behind closed doors that led to the decision. And there's only a few hours left in tax season, but if you still haven't filed your taxes, there is time. The Department of Revenue knows this day is stressful and they're trying to make it easier. You can go to Bush River Road and drop off your taxes from the comfort of your car until 6 tonight.
We will be out here, we will be collecting forms. We will also be distributing forms. If you need an extension, if you need a power of attorney, if you need the actual return, we have those out here now for you.
If you choose to drop off your taxes, they will be counted as being filed on time.
Before we go to break, we've got Kara Stokes here with a preview of our weather forecast.
Cloudy skies and April showers have been the story for today's weather. I'll give you a look at what the upcoming week looks like and if you'll have to move your Easter plans indoors. That's coming up next on Carolina News.
I believe that home is where your pet is.
And that loving an animal means never giving up.
Welcome back to Carolina News. We have Kara Stokes here for the weather.
All this rain recently hasn't really been upsetting me because it's washed away all this pollen and really cleared up my allergies.
Absolutely. The temperatures have been warm and the rain has washed away.
No chances of rain on Sunday. So for your Easter plans, you should be absolutely perfect.
I'm sure kids across the Midlands who want their Easter egg hunts to go on are relieved to hear that.
Absolutely. You can hunt for Easter eggs out in your backyard and don't have to bring those indoors.
That sounds absolutely perfect. Thanks so much, Kara.
Absolutely.
Well, coming up, the Gamecocks are missing some key players against Charleston Southern tonight. Find out what's keeping 4 starters out of the lineup next in sports.
Some people might think that Adrian would never be able to go to college like his brother.
Welcome back to Carolina News. We've got Aubrey Marcinko here with our sports update.
Yes, just real quick though, we did just get word from the university that for seniors graduating on May 9th, they are going to now allow us 6 tickets instead of the 4. So a little bit of good news. Going back to Aubrey, I was at the baseball game this Sunday and Pancake seemed like he tweaked a muscle running in to catch a field of ground ball.
He did actually hurt himself, and that's going to hurt the team tonight. He's now play the Spurs, and 3 years ago they upset them in the exact same seed, so it'll be exciting to see what happens.
It's a very deep Western Conference. Should be a great playoff.
I hope so. Yeah. Thanks, Aubrey. Well, coming up, see what a group of landfill workers found among the trash.
What do you expect to find in a landfill besides trash? Thankfully.
That's so cute. I probably would have ended up taking him home with me right on the spot.
Oh, how could you not? He's an adorable little guy. Kara, could you give us one more look at the weather before we head off?
Absolutely. We saw rain today, but tomorrow the skies will be clear, 65 degrees. As we move through the rest of the week, we'll see temperatures are going to be warming up, 69 on Thursday, 70 on Friday. Saturday will bring a slight chance of rain, but everything should be clear by Sunday, reaching 80 degrees and sunny skies. So perfect just in time for Easter.
Awesome.
It's going to be beautiful. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thanks so much for being with us.
See you tomorrow, Columbia. Have a great evening.